Hello and welcome to Noninkables. We are on episode number 7 today. Sorry about the delay. I had to cover a last minute shift at work because somebody got norovirus. And for the people who don't have children, don't know what norovirus is, it's like a horrible foodborne illness that just basically gives you diarrhea, vomiting like insane. So, yeah, sorry for the delay. We're here. Okay, so for this week's podcast, I wanted to talk about we did go to 2 set champs this weekend, and then kind of like a general thoughts about how set champs went overall. Did get also some cool stuff this weekend. I am still waiting for the Chinese Lorcana cards that I had ordered to come. I ordered from the same place, and they were pretty fast with shipping last time. It took like a week, and it's been about a week. And I checked the tracking, and it still says FedEx waiting, or not FedEx, USPS waiting for shipment, or waiting for receival of package, but then I already had a receival package. It was weird. So I messaged the store, and they were like, I don't know, we've had a lot of things not being scanned, and so they're gonna look into it, and they filed a thing with USPS, and they said usually they find the package within 2 days. So hopefully it will be here soon, because I do want to open more of those because it's very fun. And I swear Lorcana is going to be the thing that brings me back into practicing my Chinese. So if you guys haven't watched that first Chinese card unboxing video, please do. You will watch me struggle to read Chinese. So history was born in China, but I moved to America when I was 4. And I went to Chinese school every Saturday until the end of high school. And I'd always considered myself pretty fluent in terms of understanding and speaking. And then so on reading and probably not great at writing just because I don't practice it. And I had tried to take Chinese in college, but the first day of class, my teacher told me, one, I was pronouncing my name wrong, which I think was more of an accent thing because she wanted me to pronounce it with a Beijing accent, and I'm not from that area. And so I don't do R's like that at the end of all the words. And then she also said we were going to learn traditional, and I had never learned traditional, and traditional is very hard. So for people who don't know, I guess, that much about Chinese, basically the Chinese language was one standardized back with Qin and then the Great Wall guy, and then in the 60s, I think so it's been everything. So all the different dialects in Chinese are all written the same. So even though they sound totally different, and there are dialects in Chinese that I don't understand. There's actually a lot that I don't understand. Like Shanghainese, I can't really understand it. And I know 2 things of what to say in that dialect. I know Kungale, which means I'm going to sleep. And I know Feiche, which is I don't want to eat it. But otherwise, that I don't understand that dialect at all. But it's written the same as Cantonese, as Mandarin, everything. Okay. So, but in the 60s, they took the written language and simplified it. So there's a lot of words that had a bunch of strokes that are now less strokes. So one classic example they always show is the word for dragon was very, very complicated, had maybe 20 strokes before, and now it's literally 5. And so a lot of times you can guess what if you can read one of them, you can guess the other one, but I don't want to be tested on that. And so I dropped that class and I took Italian instead. But yeah, so I feel Lorcana is going to be what actually gets me back into reading Chinese and practicing and stuff, especially now that they have Chinese Lorcana cards. And based on some flyers, so it looks like they might have some sort of competition in May in China. So kind of the same timeline as Japan. So yeah, I want those cards to get here. I am also still waiting on, what am I else am I waiting on? Waiting on some cards I bought from Amazon, just as I see, boring stuff. And it's card reveal season. And I have to say, right now, currently, I am not caught up on all the card reveals. I know that there were a bunch of dual ink cards released. I know that there was a Mushu card, who I love, and he's in, I think, Red Steel, which is a color combo I always try to play. And so I'm very excited. I'm gonna do videos that review that. Basically, we're just gonna read through all the cards together, just so I read them. Because I feel when I make a video, I'm more careful about making sure I've seen all of them that have been released and all that stuff. And I know a lot of content creators are getting to reveal cards this set. I'm not one of that. One of our friends, Tegan, who does 100 Acres of Ink, it's a podcast she does with Chris. They do together. And Chris is like one of our local TOs, and they know the rules really well. So it's interesting to hear those two talk together. So they are releasing one, I think, I want to say Wednesday, but I think I might have just made that up because I'm just guessing because I don't think it's today. Let me look. I don't want to lie to everybody. Right? Okay, let's see. Go on one of our local Discords. They kind of posted it. I think Ravensburger officially posted everybody. Okay, let's see. 100 Acres of Ink is revealing their card on. Why can't I find it? What the heck? I literally read this. It's just not in this. Okay, you know what? I should not look into a local Discord, and I should just look at the official Discord. Okay. Here we go. Where is it? I think I didn't even get my eyes checked or something. I'm blind. Oh, let's see. Laura Keepers inbox. Enchanted Kim is releasing one on the 13th. She's cool. I feel like I met her on Instagram and then in real life. 100 Acres of Ink, 15th. So the day after Valentine's Day. Yeah. And then I was thinking to myself, like, am I jealous that they get to release cards and I don't? I guess a little bit, but also I think that holding that secret would eat me up inside. And I don't know that I need that stress right now. I don't know. Maybe that's just me like trying to laugh it off and not be jealous. But yeah. Okay. So, this week, let's see. This week, I think, what did I release? I released an unboxing video, first chapter, not Chinese, just regular. And then I have 2 more scheduled. So I think one is this Wednesday, one's next Wednesday. I do open a Crazy Enchanted in one of them, and I got so excited I stopped recording. So there's a video that is like shorter than all the other ones because I opened an Enchanted and I got too excited. And it's a good one. And then I did record, so I just need to edit it. I did record. It's going to be a new series, and it's literally, we're going to go through all of the comprehensive rules for Lorcana together. So I feel like a lot of times there are like controversies and judge calls, like all that happened in Oceania, blah, 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 right? And like Brian listens to a lot of the other podcasts, and I sometimes will listen to along with them, and people will say stuff like why they think the ruling was incorrect or whatever. And then I'm just like, that's not even it. It's not it. I've read the rules. It's not it. So we're going to go through the rules. And I don't know. To me, the rules are very clear. Maybe because I've taken like some law classes. And so to me, it reads kind of like when you read law and like when you read briefs of how they apply the law to different cases, it feels similar vibes. So to me, like the rules are pretty clear, but I think people still get confused. So we're going to go through, it's going to be a series. I think it ended up being like 7 parts total so far, where we go through all of the comprehensive rules one by one so that you all will also know all the rules, and then you will get rule sharked because you're like, I know the rules. Don't even try to play me like that. And then I am planning to, so there's like a comprehensive rules document. There's also like a tournament rules document, and don't remember the other one, but it's basically like what happens if you do break a rule, the punishment you get, basically. The punishment document, that's not what it's called. So I will be going through all of those in succession. I feel like this is a good time for us to learn all the rules so that we don't get, if someone tries to rule shark us, we can be like, no, actually, that's not correct. And then I feel like if you know the rules well, when someone tries to call a judge on you, and even if like the judge doesn't rule in your favor and you know the rules well, you would know, like, I know this rule that is an incorrect call. I'm going to appeal and say, like, please refer to the comprehensive rules. It's in there. Okay, so that is what is upcoming. And I think I'll probably release the first one tomorrow. But I'm just assuming that's when I'll get it. Maybe that's a little optimistic. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe Thursday or Friday, actually. And so that is what is coming up once I get the Chinese boxes of Lorcana cards. We'll be opening those. And then, of course, the videos where we go over all the new cards. So lots of upcoming content for the channel. I also feel like there's currently not really any like big DLCs to prepare for and all that stuff. Oh, this past weekend, Gen Con tickets did go on sale on Sunday, so we did snag those. We're going to go to Gen Con again. Last year we went and it was super fun. Uh, and we pretty much played Lorcana and Neopets Battle Dome, a game that I like, which I know, I feel like Neopets is very simple compared to Lorcana, of course, but it's very nostalgic for me, and nobody wants to play with me because nobody knows that this game exists. But my best friend said she would play with me when she comes to visit. We just have to figure out a time for her to come visit from Jersey. Yeah. So we're gonna go to Gen Con again. Last year they had the mats with all the different ink colors. I think if I tilt this up, you'll be able to see it. It's up there. It's kind of, you can't see it because it's blurry, but it's up there. It's that top mat up there. But it has like all the ink colors and a different character for each one. And last year for Gen Con, the way to win one was you had to be undefeated in that whatever event you were playing in. And so everything I think was mostly everything except for multiplayer was 3 rounds. So as long as you were 3-0, you would get a mat. I know one of our friends, Judy and Edmund, got like a bunch of mats. And they had like different, so they had like seal, they had draft, they had starter deck chaos, which was like you get a random starter deck from any of the sets. So I feel like if you got bounce or one of the later starter decks, you were good. But if you got like first chapter, it was like less good. And I think I won mine actually from a starter deck chaos one. And then Brian won one, I think, from either sealed or constructed. And then the multiplayer was only 2 rounds. So you had to be undefeated. And unfortunately, the multiplayer that I paired into had Bucky decks. And so it was just like, okay, fine, whatever. Not fun. So yeah, Gen Con was this past weekend. Oh, I also got, so I saw somebody at LCQ with these. They're called burger tokens. And I got my burger tokens. I haven't used them yet, but they are like little stickers. They're like epoxy stickers. And you put them, you put one on each side of a penny. So then I had to go find pennies. And then they have ones that say like reckless, they have can't ready, they have resist, can't quest, and then like and then like -1, -2, -5. So I'm excited to use those. I also didn't play a deck this weekend where I needed them. If I played Emerald Steel this weekend, I would have brought them because of the song I'm Still Here, because that gives you resist. Or, if you're playing like any of those cards that are like, oh, you can't quest or you can't challenge. Like Heffalumps, a bunch of those. So yeah, that was exciting. And also this weekend, Gary, one of our team members, got us all team jackets. So I had made some before. I had made us like team t-shirts and like hoodies. So he got us these cool jackets that have like our hexagon on the front and then the back. The hexagon says Q and then Brian says like Briguy. So super cute. I feel like they look more professional than hoodies. I'm a fan. So that was very cool of him. And then let's talk about this weekend. Okay, so this weekend we went to 2 set champs. We went to 88 Card House, which is a little bit like south of where we are, and we went to NorCal TCG, which is north of where we are. We're kind of just in the middle. So 88 Card House, they always host their set champs in the hotel across the street, the Wyndham Garden. And I think this is the first time we'd been to their set champs. And we got there, we saw some people that we already knew, and like a bunch of people I had seen at King Kong the weekend before. And we're just like all sitting there chatting. And then who walks in but Ed Chu, aka North American champion. And immediately I started panicking. he's like, I've met him before. He's very nice. And like we hang out a lot with like Judy and Edmund, and they're part of the same team. And so like I've met him before, but still it's just like, ooh, he's the North American champion. And immediately I was like, okay, I gotta go nervous pee. And then Tyler and Gary were not at that competition, so we like immediately messaged in the Discord. We're like, oh, Ed's here. We're all gonna be fighting for like second place, I guess. And I brought the DKP deck. So I'd spent all week like last weekend, I was like, I don't want to play this deck anymore. I want to play like hyper aggro or like purple steel or try something spicy, right? And so I was like testing all these different decks all week, and like I kept losing, and I felt like part of it was like maybe the deck wasn't that strong, but also part of it was like I'm not a good enough player to make a so-so deck very good. So I feel like the meta decks are meta because they are very strong decks on their own, right? And then if you are a very good player, you can pilot them and then like win DLCs. I think there are a lot of decks that are kind of like more B tier, not as good, but if you're a really good pilot, you could still win. But I don't think I'm that pilot. And so I ended up going back to the DKP deck. I did watch his podcast episode with What Kind of Goons, where he talked kind of about mulligans and how he plays the deck. And then I kind of watched his deck profile that he had on his channel, but it ended up being like more of why he picked certain cards in the deck. And then also like it was those came out like Friday, I think, into Saturday, and I was playing Saturday, so it was like a time crunch of like watching those, like sort of watch them on like 2x speed. And so I think after that, I feel like I got a little bit better at playing the deck. So at 88 Card House, I played first round, I played Edmund, not Ed Chu, the North American champion, but Edmund. And I had played Edmund the weekend before first round at Destine. I was playing DKP at that time. He was playing red purple and he kicked my butt. This time he was playing green steel and he kicked my butt again. First game, he was at like 14 lower. I was at 8. He got to 14 and I kind of held him there. And because I was only at 4 at that time. And then I got up to 8 lower. And then like he went pretty wide with his board. And I had a B prep in hand, but he kept playing Pete. I think he played Pete like twice or something. I don't know. That might have been the second game. But then he won. I think he played a Pete well timed, had a super wide board, so you could just quest and win. And then the second game, that's right. I wrote Maui Shark. Okay. So I think the second game on the board, I had a Maui Shark, a Maui. And in hand, I had a regular Maui Hero Vol and a B prep. And we don't talk about Bruno, my Maui Shark. So it went back in hand. And then I think it ended up discarding the Maui Shark. And then he played a sudden chill. So I discarded the Maui because I was like, okay, next turn I'm just going to be prep. He discarded the sudden chill. He had a Prince John on board. He drew a card. It was a 2-drop Ursula. So then he played that and got my B prep. And that was kind of the end for me. And I was like, geez. He was like, sorry, I just drew really well. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what happened. The first game, he definitely peated me twice. Okay, so that was round 1. Let's see, round 2, I played Paris, who was playing blue steel, and she had like just picked up the deck that day. And first game, I was on the draw. She got to like 18 lower. I was at 10, and then I kind of controlled and got 1. Second game, I was on the play. I think we're playing it looks like we're playing best of 2. Yeah, that makes sense. Best of 2, and I played 3 manners on her. And so there was no coming back from that. Round 3, I played against Robert, whose name is Waffles, which is so cute. He was playing green blue, and I was like a little nervous because usually when I match into green blue online, I just quit the game or cancel because I think I played one time against green blue and we literally played like a 30-40 minute game. It was one game, and I was going to want to waste time on this. But he beat me, those Clarabelle things, and then bend to my will, and then it's like, okay, cool, thanks. Yeah, so it was like that. And then at this point, I'm at 2 losses and 2 wins. It was 6 rounds because there were so many people. The 4th round, I played against Alex. I didn't write down what they were playing. First game, I was on the play. I won 16-2. Second game, I was on the draw and I won 18-0 because I Pirates Left at some point in there. I don't remember what Alex was playing. And then 5th round, I played Matt. And what was Matt playing? Remember. I'm really bad at taking notes apparently. But I won both games. First game 20-9, second game 21-12. I feel like it was maybe like a mirror or something else with ramp. And then the last round 6, I matched into Brian, who was playing green steel, and I beat him this time because we matched into each other at the end of Destine also. So my Destine run started with playing Edmund on red purple, ended with Brian playing green steel. This time my 88 Card House one started with Edmund on green steel, but more mid-range, and then ended with Brian on green steel. This time I beat Brian and I made it into top 8, which was exciting, but I felt bad because I knocked him out of top 8. Quarterfinals, I played Space Ranger Co. And it was untimed, and he was on Amber Steel, like I think aggro, maybe Diggy Hole version. First game I totally lost. He went to 20. I had 0 lower. I was on the draw. Second game I won. I got to 15. He was at 6. Third game I won, but it was like very close because he got to 15 and then I got to like 9. And then because I think it was actually technically timed, but we also thought it was untimed. And he said he was like super, super tired. And so he was taking a long time for his turns. And this was like later in the day. I feel like my ADHD meds were wearing off. And so I was getting super distracted. And so every single turn, he had to remind me about my lore from Manor, which is very nice of him. And then I think one of the turns, he had like a super wide board and he didn't want to quest because I had a shark out and I had a B prep in the grave or in the discard. Wow, look at me sounding like a Magic player in the discard. And if he had quested then, probably he would have gone to like 18 or 19. And that probably would have won him the game because then I would have had to have an answer for every single thing. But he didn't. And then I ended up like drawing into a beat prep. So I just quested and beat prepped. And then I still had stuff in hand and he did not. And then in the semifinal, I played against Charles. What did I write down? Oh, don't touch me. Okay, so it's playing Charles. We did 3 games. First game, I lost, but I could only, let me see what I wrote to the guys because I remember texting the Discord because Charles is who beat Tyler in LCQ in his LCQ run. So I was trying to get revenge for Tyler, but it didn't happen. Okay, so let's see what happened to me. I said I didn't say why. I got to 19 and he was at 18, but I couldn't get to 20. And he was playing Amber Steel. So he won the next turn. The second game I was on the play, I had at 1.3 sharks out. And so, did actiony things. I like developed your brain into a vision, into a develop your brain, and won that way. And then the last game I lost. He went very aggressive and my B prep was literally 1 card away. So then that kind of ended my run. I ended up in 3rd place. So not bad. And then, also during the game with Charles, there was some lady outside of the room who just started yelling, "Don't touch me." And then at one point I did see our TO out there, like trying to, and then some of the other guys went out there to try like de-escalate. But there was this lady literally just like, "Don't touch me, don't touch me," like screaming. So that was very distracting for both of us. We were both like, "Oh, I'm so distracted." She's literally just like yelling into the room. And then when we left the tournament, there were like 2 cops in the lobby. So that was interesting. Afterwards, Brian and I got our usual post-tournament hot pot. We went to a place called Zhangfei Hot Pot, and it was so spicy. I decided to get like the house. It wasn't even the house spicy. It was just like the Zhangfei, which I should have known, given like Zhangfei is a character in like 3 Kingdoms, and his aura is, I feel like he would eat very spicy hot pot, and I should have known, and I got it anyways, and it burned my face off, but it was very good. So that was Saturday. And then on Sunday, we went to NorCal TCG, which I guess is kind of like more of a local store to us. It was cool because we knew every single person at this tournament. And the store itself is pretty small. So they rented the hall downstairs. And they also were playing the Super Bowl at the same time, which was very distracting for me. So I was facing the TV rounds 1 and 2, and I could like tell I was getting distracted because I would see, like, I don't watch football usually unless it's the Niners because apparently I'm married into a Niners family. But I would like see people on the screen and be like, "I think I know that person." And it was literally like Gronkowski, who I recognized from Masked Singer, and Aaron Andrews, who I recognized from Dancing with the Stars. And then I was like, "Oh, that's the Manning brother. They're in the Bush's Baked Beans commercial." So, I'm not a sports person in terms of football. And so I recognize people from other stuff. And then I think when Swiss was over, it was like halftime. And it was like the volume was kind of low. I couldn't hear it. I had to come home and rewatch the halftime show, which was awesome. Okay, so round 1, I paired into Brian. And it was best of 3. First game I won, second game I lost, third game I won. So I don't know why I always paired to Brian now. Kind of want to play other people. Round 2, I paired into Kioski, who was on red blue, but like not standard red blue. I don't know. I don't know what's standard anymore. He had Greatstone Dragon, he had Maleficent Dragons, he had Maui Sharks, and we did 3 games. First game, he won. Second game, I won no contest, like 16-0, 20-0, basically. I think the second game, I got a bunch of manners out. And then third game, he won. I feel like that game might have gone to time. Round 3, I played against Daniel, who I think the last time I played him, he was on blue steel. This time he was on yellow, red, Mufasa, I want to say. And we played first, I won the die roll, but first game I lost 20-2. Second game I won. Third game I lost 19-1. Like he just went real aggressive. And then, okay, so at Drughouse TCG, they had a raffle at the end of round 2, which I won, and I got a Azurite Sea Trove. And then they did another raffle later, like I think between at the end of Swiss, and I think that was one. Who won that? I don't remember. I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention. But they also said in their flyer that they were going to give out a last place prize. So after round 3, apparently after I beat Brian in the first round, he said he was kind of like not really thinking, and he was playing green steel, and you like can't not think with that deck. So he was just turning cards sideways. And so he was 0-3 at that point. And I was like, Brian, just keep losing. Now you just go for the last place prize because like it's only 5 rounds. You're not going to get into the top 8, and there's no prizes for like 9 to the end. So you might as well just go for the last place prize. I was like, just keep losing on purpose. And there was only one other person at that time who was 0-3, I think it was Rich. And so I was like, you totally like, you might be a shoo-in for this. Go for that. So I was like, this is spectacular. And then, okay, so 4th round, I ended up playing Amy, she was playing green blue. We were all just joking how like Amy is like the sweetest, most soft-spoken person. And then she will like be like, bend to your will. Oh, sorry. Like it's just so funny that she's like so nice, and then her deck can be so mean. So we played green blue. We played 2 games. The first game I won, but it was very close. She was at 19. And then the second game was super, super close. And by that time, I think we were really only 2 people playing. And at one point, we were both at 18. And then I think I ended up having like a pirate's life or something. Yeah. And then the last game. So I was also trying to play Jack. So he's one of our locals. And we've literally never played each other. So he had won his match. He played Kevin. He'd won his match. And so I was like, oh, if I win against Amy, we'll have the same record. And then maybe we can play together. And we didn't. We like missed each other by a table. And so in the last one, what did I play? What did I play against? I played Tegan. So I played Tegan, who was playing. Oh, what was she playing? It was cool. Maybe red steel. Was it red steel? It had locations. It had steel. Maybe yellow amber steel. I don't know. It was a spicy build. First game I was on. Let's see. First game I won, and then second game I can't tell with this. First game I won, second game I lost, and third game I really lost. Yeah, I think first game her deck was just crazy brickin'. No, second game was the day. There was one game where she literally drew 4th strength of raging fires. And so I think she was very upset at her deck for bricking. So in the end, Brian and I did not make it to top 8, which was fine because we had to pick up our daughter, go get our dog, all that stuff. And both Tyler and Gary made it to top 8, and they were 1 and 2. So they were able to avoid each other. And then they met in the finals, and then Tyler ended up winning. Gary was playing red, blue, Sisu on Ice version, I think. And Tyler was playing purple steel. And so Tyler remains, I think, what is this, like 3 or maybe this is like the 4th set where he's won NorCal set champs. He's like the undefeated king of NorCal TCG set champs, which is pretty funny. But Brian ended up winning the last place prize. So his last game was with Amy, and whoever lost would be the last place, right? And so they decided to play to lose, basically. So they were like, okay, so whoever wins the game actually will get the loss on Melee and therefore win the last prize by losing. Right? Confusing. But basically, so he was like, he was like, besides you in the first round, that was the one round where he was like really paying attention and thinking about his deck because he wanted to win so he could lose so we could get the last place prize. The last place prize ended up being the Stitch gift set. So we have that. Oh, also on Saturday we were at 88 Card House. So there were like a bunch of packs to win So I think for third place, I got like 13 packs, and I ended up pulling a Enchanted Wreck-It Ralph. So that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, sweet. I might not have won the map, but I won the Enchanted Wreck-It Ralph. So that was pretty cool. So overall, let's see, 4 set champs. I went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 total set champs. So probably the max you could do, unless you're doing multiple per day. And we did do 2 in one day. So of those set champs, my best placement was second, and my worst placement was last. And that was the one at Games of Conquer that I dropped after round 2, and it wasn't going good. So I got second twice, and then I was in top 8 2 other times. So at third and 7th place. So pretty good, better than last set. So remember, I think last set I got 1 Mirabelle, and that was it, I think. Like 1 first place. And that was kind of it. And then the set before that, I made it into, I think, 3 top 8s. So definitely doing better. So I think I'm getting better at the game. Although with an announcement that like now you have to win to get the mat, it feels much more daunting. Yeah. Also because I think for me at least, like the set champs is and DLC, all the things, they're a very long day. And towards the end of the day is when my focus goes. So like for me, I think all through school, like I was fine doing well in the morning. And then if I had like afternoon tests, it was always like bad news bears because that's when my focus is gone. And like when I was in college, I would just schedule all my classes for morning. And then in the afternoon, I would have like dance classes and stuff. So I would like 1, not fall asleep, and 2, not have to think in a different way. And so for these set champs, like especially the ones that start later, like in the afternoon, that's already when I feel like I'm already sundowning at that point. And so I feel like it's tough. And then like for me, by the time it's finals, like I am trying so hard to stay focused, and it's just so difficult. Like after Swiss, I feel like I am pooped, and it's hard for me to stay focused like that whole time. And especially like when I was playing Green Steel this set, I felt like that concentration was just, you needed it the whole time. So I did play Green Steel in, I think, 5 set champs. So with Green Steel, I got 2 second places and a 7th place. And then with DKP stack, I got a 3rd place. Granted, I feel like Green Steel, I had been practicing since LCQ, so a lot longer compared to DKP stack. And then one of the tournaments I went to a DKP stack, I literally hadn't practiced at all. I just brought it, played a game that morning. That was it. So not bad. I think I'm getting better. I also think our locals, everybody in our locals is getting better, and there's like a lot less misplays for me to capitalize on, which is making it difficult. Everyone's so good. And our locals is so hard. I should close the loop. So the set champs at 88 card house that Ed was at, he was playing, I think, red, blue, CC1 ice version, I think. He ended up, I think, being 9th or 10th. So I would like to say that for that one day, I was better, which is like nothing because he wasn't even playing his deck and was like totally unserious. And I know I'm not better at, not even close to the level at that. But technically, on that one day, I did place higher than him. And so I feel like that isn't a win in and of itself. I also never matched into him, which was like what I was worried about the whole day. Because Judy kept being like, oh, you have a similar record. You might match into Ed. And I was like, I don't want to play Ed. The last time I played him, I was on red blue too, and he was on red purple, and he had more cards in his hand and his ink ball than I did. And it was just like, and he's so like calm and chill. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm still traumatized from that time. Yeah, it's scary. So we have like so many good local players. Like I think of all the people who are going to nationals, there's at least like 2 here. Of all the people going to worlds, I mean, of all the people going to Worlds, the North American champion / Dallas Fort Worth champion live in our area. And so I feel like it's hard in our area to win stuff because everyone is so good, right? And it becomes more apparent when I play at like less regional events, like when we played at Gen Con and when we played at like LCQ and at the DLCs, because people will come up and they'll put out their like championship mat, right? Like the Ursula championship, their Stitch championship, right? And then I play them and I'm like, you're misplaying. Like, you're doing weird. This isn't. I thought you would be better because we have a champion mat. And I think it's just because our local area is crazy. Like, I feel like the local people that we play, right, every day, many of them have made it to day 2. Not like many of them, but like at least like 4 or 5 of them have either made it to day 2 or been on the bubble. Like Judy played in the day 2 of nationals because she qualified through Toronto. There's obviously Ed. Chris Louis is in this area. I think he was 2nd place at one of the competitions. I don't know which one, but yeah, it's like our local area is just crazy, which is nice because then you know that when you practice in locals, like you're getting good practice. I mean, we also have beginners in our area. We also have people who think they're good and they're not good. We also have people who think they're not good and they're very good. So a lot of range, I would say, but also just a lot of high talent in our area. So I feel very fortunate to live in an area where I have a lot of resources and a lot of good practice. But yeah, that is it, I think, for the podcast today. Keep on a lookout. There will be an unboxing video tomorrow. And then either Thursday or Friday, probably, there will be part 1 of the comprehensive rules. And then after that, I think we may do some like massive card for set 7, looking at those cards together. And then eventually, whenever my Chinese cards get here, we'll practice some more Chinese together. And that's it for me. All right. So as always, keep shuffling. Hopefully you don't end up with a whole handful of I can talk. As always, keep shuffling. Hopefully you don't end up with a whole handful of non-inkables like me. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. What else do YouTubers say? Click the like button, ring the bell to get notifications. We also have an Instagram that I will try better to update. We technically have a Blue Sky and a Twitter, but I update those even less. So I think maybe my goal should be to update the other social media better. It's just I don't like Meta. I mean, I am on Instagram, but I used to use it so much, and now I feel like I just don't like Meta. So yeah, that is it for me. Bye.